Hey, Pastor, it's Richard Chansey at 24 to Double. And hey, I just wanted to come to you live today to tell you about something exciting we've done at 24 to Double. Now, at 24 to Double, our vision, our main mission in life is to help you double your church in just 24 months. And we have made one of our trainings available to you on demand. You can find that at unbreakablechurch.com. It's our 6 Unbreakable Laws of Church Growth training that Pastor Jerry Lawson and I put together, and now you can watch it right now on demand. You can go to unbreakablechurch.com or you can click the link below. Hey, I also wanted to share with you a training that I just did in another group that I'm in that's all focused on leadership, and it was around John Maxwell's confidence cycle. And the confidence cycle is just this. It starts out with possibility, really thinking through, Pastor, what is possible. Hey, and I apologize too right off the bat for you. The lighting is a little weird in here. I got a new background. Let me see if this helps. Maybe that's a little better. Now it looks like I'm in the dark. We're going to switch back. It's an experiment. What can I say? So step 1 of the confidence cycle is possibility. So really thinking through, Pastor, what is possible? And I know that in church world, we tend to think possibility. We go right to the vision, and without vision, people perish. And we start thinking great big picture, and you definitely want to do that. But I think you also want to slow down and think, what's next? We're in the first quarter of the year here. What could you do this quarter? What could you do in the next 90 days? No matter when you're watching this video, what is possible in the next 90 days? What change could you create? Once you understand that, it's about passion or asking why, understanding why that's important. I just got off the phone with a pastor who was making changes in his church. And I'm talking about changes that lead to the big change. He talked about what happened when they tried to get their ushers out of suits and into volunteer polo shirts, so nice polo shirts. And they revolted and they pushed back on him. And the idea was he was giving out pieces of the vision without keeping the big picture in play. Because when you pick the big picture in play, the little things, people tend to withstand the small changes a lot better. So passion, understanding why it is that you're doing what you're doing. Ultimately, we think that's to reach more people, to try to bring the message of Jesus out into the world in a more efficient way. Now, passion also means, we know where that word comes from, don't we, Pastor? The passion of the Christ. It means that you know the cost and you're willing to pay it anyway. Pastor, do you know the cost of your vision? Is it clear in your mind? And are you willing to pay it? The next step of the confidence cycle in John Maxwell's teaching is the problem. What's going to be the problem? Most of the time we think that the vision, there's a clear path to it and everything's going to be moving forward, when in reality, Pastor, most of the time the way forward is a step back. It's taking a step back in people, in vision, in change in your pocket, it's taking a step back from the people that you absolutely were certain we're going to be with you all the way, and realizing all of a sudden that they're not. Do you understand the problems, Pastor? Do you understand the obstacles that are coming your way so that you can weather them? When we know these things are coming, when they show up, they're a lot easier to weather. And again, I apologize for the lighting on this. That white background in the back has taken all my white light off of me, so I apologize for that. Hey, thanks, Derek. So the problem, understanding the problem. Here, I call this predictable doubt. There are steps along the way. There are points in the process, Pastor, when you begin to move towards vision where people are going to bail on you. If you know in advance, if you had communion with God and he said, hey, here's the path I want you to take, it won't be easy. If you understand that it's not going to be easy, when these things start to pop up, instead of it bringing you down, it's going to encourage you. You're going to say, hey, God said it would be like this. Richard said it would be like this on that live stream I watched that day. Pastor, it's going to be difficult and you're going to have setbacks, but we don't need to look at them as setbacks. We need to look at them as milestones. And again, we cover a lot of this in the Unbreakable Church webinar, so you can find that at unbreakablechurch.com. Go check that out. It's a free training. You can watch it on demand. We made it for you to add value to you. The pastor I partner with, Jerry Lawson, who created all the 24 to Double training, wherever you are, I promise you he's been there. He went from a church of 60-year-olds in a 60-year-old building, worshiping with about 3,500 people in 5 locations. And he's in Coleman, Alabama. I promise you, if wherever you are, Jerry understands where you are. The next part of the process is planning. In church world, I don't know if we do this well, Pastor. I don't know if we plan well. And here's what your plan should look like, the guts of your plan. You should figure out how you want to grow. In 24 to Double, we're always trying to keep you focused on doubling. If you're at 100, what's it going to take to get you to 200? Pastor, it's easier than you think, or it's simpler than you think, but it's hard. You've got to be able to do the work. Putting a plan together. I always tell people when you're planning, whatever your goal is, if it's to double your church, think 10x. What would it take for us to 10x our church? Because that's going to put you in a whole different mind frame of thinking about your church. When you're done with that, write a bunch of things down. After you get over the laughter and the hysterics of thinking, is that even possible? Hey, let me tell you this. Absolutely, Pastor, it is possible. And God is with you in it. That's why it's possible. It's absolutely possible to 10x. But think 10x and then 80-20 your 10x list, your plan. Whatever those 10, 50, 100 things are, knock it down to the top 20, the things that you absolutely can execute on that are going to get you the greatest return. 10x it, then 80-20, and now you've got a list that theoretically should get you halfway to 10x. So some of that stuff's not going to work, but now you've got a plan that's going to help you move forward. And here's what I've found. Tension, anxiety gets created in me. Fear gets created in me when I lack clarity. And here's what I tell you, Pastor. Lean into God on this plan. Lean in and get a plan mapped out, and then start sharing that plan. Help other people understand, hey, God's doing something. He's stirring in me, and I'm going to stir in you, and we're going to get out here and we're going to do something. And now here's the part of the process where everything changes. When you go from possibility, passion, understanding the problem, creating a plan, to all of a sudden now you're going to execute on that plan. That's going to require courage, Pastor. That's what John Maxwell says is the fifth stage of this process, courage. Now, we can look out in the future and go, hey, we know these are the points where we're going to have courage, where we stand on stage and we start to cast a new vision, where we sit in those small groups in our church with our staff and our key leaders, our influencers, and we start to cast vision, and we start to ask people to fund the vision. We know those are points in time that are going to require courage. Pastor, map those things out so that you can see them coming in the future and you're not thinking last minute. When you sit down and you begin to invest time in somebody who can invest in the vision of your church, absolutely you need to have a plan for how you're going to set up this vision, call this person into it, and then ask them to fund it. Pastor, side note, they're waiting on you to ask them. Most of them are thinking, I have all of this success, I've made all of this money, I've been successful in these areas of my life. And let me just tell you this, most of them are asking this one question: is this really all there is to it? The answer is no. That is not all there is to it. And here's the thing, a common saying among people is, money won't make you happy. People that say that just haven't given enough away, right? And Pastor, you're giving people the opportunity to fund a vision that's going to last 100 years from now. And if that doesn't get you on fire, then your wood might be wet, Pastor. You have got something that these people cannot get anywhere else. It's vision and a compelling future, and they're going to invest in something, Pastor, that's going to last forever. And then the last part is confidence. This whole thing is called the confidence cycle. I love how John taught this. I've had the opportunity to work with John over the years. I've got a partnership with him on some things now. And I love that this thing resolves itself in confidence, because we need confidence to move forward. And as we move through these goals that we set for ourselves, at the end of this, Pastor, at whatever possibility you're about to reach for, when you get there, I promise you this, your confidence is going to be at a different level. Let me share one last thing with you on that note. A couple of years ago, I kept reading Psalms and Proverbs, and I kept running across these three words: knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And I was trying to think, are these words interchangeable, Pastor? They are not. They are not interchangeable. Knowledge is gaining information, much like what I've talked about right here. Wisdom is the practical application of that knowledge. It's one thing to know something, but we consider people wise that know something and then act in that way. Know something that's worth knowing, that's biblical, that's truth, and they act like it's true. They put it into action. They have courage and they move forward. When we act in a wise way, the product of that is understanding. We get a new understanding. And along with that understanding of trusting God comes a new level of knowledge, a new way that we know the Lord, new initiatives that he gives us to drive us forward. And with that knowledge, we get another marching order, another opportunity to use wisdom, and that cycle continues to go round and round and round. Pastor, I hope this was helpful for you. If you didn't hear me say anything else, do this. Start reaching for something bigger. Create a gap between where you are and where God has called you to be. It's already there. Here's what I would tell you to do to come in line with it. Also, Jerry and I would love to see you in the training at unbreakablechurch.com. Love to have you join us there. If we can do anything for you, let us know. Check that out. And if you have questions, drop them under the video right here. I'll be glad to answer those as they come in. Thanks, Pastor. I'll see you in the next video.